Grant, you witnessed all of this go down. Hope Solo was talking to you when she said the word cowards, but how is this 6-month suspension going to affect her?
Well, at first it seems really harsh, right? Because you're saying 6 months suspension, and for saying cowards, that seems like really over the top. But U.S. Soccer very clear in saying that this is not just for saying cowards, it's for an accumulation of things over the last several years with Hope Solo. That they're finally issuing this punishment. Now also 6 months may sound like a lot, but it's only really 4, maybe 6 meaningless friendlies for the U.S. national team. So these aren't big games. And so actually, if I'm Hope Solo, I'm thinking maybe if I want to try and come back, I can.
And they said that she is definitely going to appeal this suspension. She also had her contract with U.S. Soccer terminated after the two sides spoke. What does that mean?
That is something that I'm a little confused by, and I made a lot of calls in the last day. Why not just suspend somebody? Why do you need to terminate their contract? Now, one thing to keep in mind here is the CBA for the U.S. women's players concludes on December 31st. So every U.S. women's national team player is out of contract as of December 31st. Hope Solo is getting 3 months in severance. So really all she's missing here is 1 month of pay and benefits. So this also is not maybe as big a punishment as it seems at first. And so once they get a new CBA done, if Hope Solo were to come back in February, once the suspension ends, she could earn a new contract with the team. My big question is, what does Jill Ellis, the coach, think about Hope Solo's future with the national team? There's 3 years before the next big tournament, the World Cup. We haven't heard from Jill Ellis yet on Hope Solo, not in Brazil, and not yesterday when U.S. Soccer made the announcement.
Boy, that silence is deafening, what you say. The head of the U.S. Women's National Team Players Association weighed in on this. He's alleging that U.S. Soccer is being sexist with the way they're treating Hope Solo. Grant, does that claim have any merit?
You know, it's interesting. I'm trying to imagine if a U.S. men's player like Clint Dempsey had said something like this, and on the face of it, maybe he wouldn't have gotten that. And U.S. Soccer has been clear in saying that if Carly Lloyd had said coward, she wouldn't have gotten a 6-month suspension. This is for a kind of lifetime achievement award for Hope Solo. So I'm curious to hear what Rich Nichols, the player rep for the U.S. women, how he'll argue that, and they will appeal this. I do think it's fair to say if Jose Mourinho had said this coward statement after a Manchester United loss, we would have shrugged our shoulders and said, oh, that's Jose Mourinho, and he wouldn't have been suspended or punished for that. So there is something, I think, of a double standard here, perhaps related to gender, but I also think that this idea of the U.S. women's team as a refreshing, classy group is something they've taken advantage of in the past as well, and that's been good for them.
Oh, very interesting. So Hope Solo's future with this team, very murky. Do you think that she's in any real danger of losing her position as the starting goalie?
In the near term, yes, because of the suspension. The question is, will she be around for the World Cup in 2019? And Jill Ellis, the coach, has to decide, is this something where I think she's still going to be our best goalkeeper at age 38 in 2019, or do I basically cut her now? Does Hope Solo have a future with the national team beyond the suspension? And we don't know the answer right now.
Ronda Rousey won't be in New York at UFC 205 in November. Rousey hasn't fought since getting stunned by Holly Holm at UFC 193 last November when Rousey lost the bantamweight crown.